I got you. Let it rap real quick. Look. The city eyes, it's time to vote God. My God, a real nigga, cause he wasn't no flaw. Posted on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure, got that shot in the closet by the mob ball. Fuck what they heard, but tell them it's all true. Be cautious, that foundation falls till you fall through. They gon' fall. Look, I keep this shit 50 times soon. Ain't no more heart in this game, I'm John Q. Colder than the avalanche, way above average. Fans taste sweet, told them make me an apple tree. Left us in the valley full of bones, this where hope found. Java, come on, man, dark sands get broke down. Riding through Evanston with Mark Quad, telling me how them crackers turn this childhood to a ghost town. Focus out, nigga, I lay that game down. I feel his pain, cause nothing is the same now. Never light shine like heaven through a rain cloud. Glock have a fit like my child, no tangent. Try to warn them niggas we bear arms like tarantulas. Them other niggas rap, I make anthems. I really see prophets under this banner. Make my enemies bow down on camera. Told my design I wanted black and white like a panda. I'm better than that nigga that's some dirty to handle. Look, I move like a Brazilian, precious cargo. Spirit ancient, but I got a new semi-auto. Wave that bitch around like where's Wardo. Sleep if they won't, I cut through they Z's like I'm Zorro. Pay me for his name, so I gotta keep that steel clutch. Trust me, I'm not what you think. I squeeze till it click like Dorothy when the heels touch. The world got me dumb, I don't feel much. Round with Yaradon, just left the state bridge. Looking for a bitch better than Baby's kid. Remember I dropped Quiet Storm, I've been gone ever since. Still in the field, fuck them niggas on the fence,
One West, 125th Street. Look, y'all put y'all faith in presidents like they gon' change this country. Run the league and let y'all play cause y'all gon' make a money. Fuck Obama, he ain't come here on cargo slave ship. What the fuck he do for blacks in his administration? I'm waiting, patient like a saint. Black, Hispanic, Native, they hate your ass the same. Hate Christ in they image, paint you as a slave. God ain't all love, scriptures say he hate. African soul niggas, they know we not the same. School to prison pipeline to get you off the streets. Put you in the cell toilet connected to the saint. Molested as a kid, she prostituted as a teen. The byproduct of Martin Luther King dreams. They just took the yoke off, my nigga, we ain't free. We living bleak in these wastelands of poverty. If you don't know the truth, then the lie sound promising. Prophecy, gift and the curse. Dylan started killing, they was sitting in church. Black folk forgave him, man, this shit is absurd. You should never love your enemy, that shit ain't gon' work. Yeah, fuck dying on your knees, you better die in glory. Man, I joined the ISUPK, taught me the art of war. I took a nigga life like mine to be recognized. I feel that pain every day, it can't be reconciled. Pops banging, my sister a prostitute. My brother got life, and somehow I still found the truth. War ready, no cowards, no excuse. Fuck reparations, you can't bandage no open wounds. Blood on the leaves, body swing hung from a noose. I was on a run in Nashville and I found the truth. I called the school, classes being held by the shock on my life. I want to be a gangster like a cop. Do this for my brothers, real brotherhood. Everything we do, we got it out this book. My nigga, I can never be no African. UPK the only authorized acronym. I'm passionate about my brothers and sisters. We in hell, I ain't got nothing against them. That's another religion. If it ain't under your honor, ain't he murdered by them and got a hug from your honor. That's the way out for a coward in my observation. They don't fear the Lord, they indoctrinated. Wolves in sheep clothing, Joe Osteen. Real priest bringing back black royalty. One West on my headpiece, ranking order. Can't let them trick me off the streets, I gotta raise my daughter. I got brothers at the border ducking ICE agents. I got the name change, it was life changing. My family thought it was a game, put on all black, they said I was going through a phase. It's more of us in jail than it was slaves. Chose by the Lord, we could never be the same. Soon as they born, the wicked go astray. They left the truth, they wasn't with us anyway. Niggas weak, they just saying anything to be truthful. We don't want no cowards anyway. Look, coronavirus, that's a plague. You don't get too much sleep when you waking up the dead. First camp, I cut off all my dreads. I took an oath when that oil hit my head. Niggas capping like they lids. I'm a priest, I never stick no fork in no pig. I was dead till I found out how to live. This brotherhood taught me how to be a man. I came back to my roots, I had to dig. A couple gaps I had to bridge. I got a rib, I'm married to this work. You wanna serve the Lord, he ain't in the Christian church. Came back to my roots, I had to dig. A couple gaps I had to bridge. I got a rib, I'm married to this work. You wanna serve the Lord, he ain't in the Christian church.
Shalom, Israel. Y'all should show where to come. Brothers, y'all should come about you. Shout out to the sisters. I'm Priest Officer Karak, holding down the Sabbath service for the ISUPK coming out of Arizona. Give me 1 second, trying to see the lock here. Hey, Shalom, sis, how you doing? Yeah, Shalom. Lucky, y'all. All right. If you're watching online, we got our classes every Tuesday through Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. And every Saturday, we got our Sabbath services at 11 a.m. All right. We're located at 12416 North 28 Drive in Phoenix, Arizona, right off of the corner of 28 Drive and Cactus. That's 12416 North 28 Drive, right in suite number 4. All right. So if you're looking online, you can see our class title is for this Sabbath service is Abram, a man of war. All right. If y'all been tapping in with us for the past few weeks, we've been going basically from the beginning of the Bible, from Genesis 1:1. Now we're at Genesis, the 14th chapter, the 7th verse, and we're going to keep and continue reading on. We're going to be reading through the entire Bible, or at least the entire Old Testament for these Sabbath services, and getting a good understanding. All right. 49 verses at a time. All right. Every week. So today we're talking about Abraham. Much like last week, we was introduced to Abraham, but we're going to be talking about some of the attributes of Abraham as well. Abraham was a man of war, and a lot of people actually don't understand that. What the problem is that people don't actually read the Bible or understand the Bible when it's read to them, and you misunderstand the characteristics of certain people. All right. Abraham is a brother that is, he's just considered. If you think about Abraham, most people will think about Abraham as, some old man with a damn staff in his hand and a long beard that's traveling across these different countries for the Most High, right? But Abraham actually went to war over his nephew. Um, and it's very important to understand what kind of man that Abraham was. Okay. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We'll also be talking about his dealings with Sarah, right, with his rib. The fact that, he had faith that his rib would be given the ability to bear children. Most people understand that Sarah was barren, right? She couldn't have any children. All right. So we'll be talking about all of that today. Once again, we'll be in Genesis, the 14th chapter, the 7th verse, and we'll read on through to the 16th chapter. Okay. So we'll make sure we'll get all of that in. 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Give me 1 second. So lucky, y'all. So, before we get started, give me about 3 minutes and then we'll be getting started with the prayers. 1 second. All right, y'all. We're going to go ahead and get started with the prayers. All right. Imagine, which means to stand. Fanyakudan, which means to turn and face the east. We're going to go ahead and open up with the prayers. Beginning with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Avanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwaka, Taba'a, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamaya, Nathanawa, Lacham, Kal Yawam, Wasalakanawa, Kal Wathnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kal Wathinawa, Wala'a, Tabayanawa, Manasaya 1, Abal, Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Raikaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Wa'ala, Watha Parath, Laiwalamyam, Aman. The Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. So be it. The Akak, or the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'abukushai, Nathanawa Akak, Akak L'Rapa'ah, Kal Maka'ala, Wakal Madawa, Akak Latahar, Amatazarayim, Akak Lakwayam, Amathya, Akak, Awakawa, Atama'ala, Lagar Shan, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Waraman. In the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahushai, thank you, so be it. I'm going to read the blessings for Israel. Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem Yahushai,
Hashem Yahushua,
Barak Lanawa,
Barak Menah,
Waya Sha'ala,
Wayashah,
Wabayasaparyam,
Safari,
Barak,
Barak,
Ba'ashem Yahushai,
Hashem Yahushua,
the Wadaman.
Wadaman,
What we just said in English is Yahweh,
Yahweh,
the name of Yahushai,
the name of Yahushua,
bless us
bless us,
and Israel
and Israel,
and the schools.
and the school,
In the name of Yahushai,
in the name of Yahushua,
thank you, so be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah,
Asha'ah,
Ayanya,
Ayanya,
Ahaharya, Ma'ayan,
Ma'ayan,
Yaba, Yaba'ah,
Yaba'ah,
Isaiah,
Azariah,
Isaiah,
Azariah,
Ma'aim,
Ma'ayan,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Aisha,
Aishah,
Shamayam,
Shamayam,
Wa'aratazah,
Wa'aratazah,
Al Yathan,
Ayathan,
Lamawat,
Lamawat,
Ragalka,
Ragal,
Al Yanawam,
Al-Yanawam,
Shamarka,
Shamar,
Hana,
Hana,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yanawam,
Yanawam,
Wala'ah,
Wala'ah,
Yayashan,
Yayashah,
Shawamar,
Shawamar,
Yasha'alam,
Yasha'ah,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Shamarka,
Shamar,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Tazalka,
Tazal,
Al Yad,
Al-Yad,
Yamyinka,
Yamyinka,
Yawamam,
Yawamam,
Hashamash,
Hashemash,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yakaka, Wayarach,
Yahweh,
Balayala, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamarka,
Yashamar,
Makal Rai, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'afka, Wabawa'aka, Ma'aitha, Wa'ai, Awalam. We're going to read Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills,
I will lift up my eyes unto the hills,
from whence cometh my help.
from whence cometh my help.
My help cometh from Yahweh,
My help cometh from Yahweh,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Yashala
he that keepeth Yahshua
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall live neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in,
and thy coming in.
from this time forth
From this time forth
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore.
We're going to read Psalms the 83rd chapter in the Hebrew. Alahayim,
Alahayim,
Al-Damayalaka,
Al-Damayalaka,
Al-Thakarash,
Al-Fakarash,
Wa Al-Thashakwat,
Al-Tashkwat,
Al
Al-
Kayahana, Awa Yabdika, Yahamaya 1, Ra'ash, Al-Imaka, Yarayamwa, Sawada, Wayatha, Yaitazawa, Al-Tazapawanyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakidam, Magalia, Wala'ar, Yazakar, Sham, Yasha'ala, Iwada, Kaya, Nawaitazawa, Laba, Yachadwa, Alyaka, Baryath, Yakarathwa, Ahaya, Arawam, Wayashma'aliyam, Mawa'aba, Wagaryam, Gabal, Waimawan, Waimalak, Palashat, I'm Yeshabya, Tazawar, Gam Ashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zawai, Labanyalawat, Salah, Aishalaham, Kamadyan, Kasaya, Sara'ah, Kayabyan, Wankhal, Kwayashwan, Nashamadwa, Ba'ayan, Da'ara, Ayawa, Daman, La'arama, Shathamwa, Nada, Yadmawa, Ka'ira, Wakaza'aba, Wakazabach, Wakatazal, Mana'ai, Kal, Messiah Kamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Narasha, Lanawa, Ath, Na'awath, Allahayim, Allahaya, Shathamwa, Kagalgala, Kakwash, Lapanya Raka, Ka'ash, Thaba'ira, Ya'ira, Wakalahaba, Thalahat, Hayam, Khan, Tharadapma, Basa'iraka, Wabasa, Wapathka, Tabahalam, Mala'a, Panyaham, Kwalawan, Wayabakwashwa, Shamka, Yahawah, Yabashwa, Wabahawa, Aya'ai, Wakaparwa, Wayabadwa, Wayadaiwa, Kaya'atha, Shamka, Yahawah, Labadka, Al Yawan, Al Ka, Al Ratazah. Psalms 83rd chapter in English. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace,
hold not thy peace,
and be not still, O God.
and be not still, O God.
For lo,
For lo,
thine enemies make a tumult,
thine enemies make a tumult,
and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
and they hate thee.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people,
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people,
and consulted against thy hidden ones.
and consulted against thy hidden.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
come,
and let us cut them off from being a nation,
and let's cut them off with a nation.
that the name of Yashala
That the name of Yahshua
may be no more remembered.
may be no longer remembered.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They have consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against thee,
They are confederate against you.
the tabernacles of Edom,
The tabernacle of Edom,
and the Ishmaelites,
and the Ishmaelites,
of Moab,
of Moab,
and the Agarenes,
and the Arabians,
Gabal,
Gaul,
and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Tyre.
Assur also is joined to them.
So also joined
They have opened the children of Lot.
and opened the children of Lot.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites,
Do unto them as unto them,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
at the brook of Kasan,
Son,
which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nose like Oreb, and like Zeeb. Yea, all their princes as Zabah,
All their princes of Zabah,
and as Amunah,
and as Amunah,
who said,
said,
Let us take to ourselves
"Let us take to
the
ourselves
houses of God
the houses of God,
in possession. O my God,
O my God,
make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind,
as the sun before the wind,
as the fire burneth the wood,
as the fire burneth the wood,
and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
and as the flame set the mountain on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest,
So persecute them with thy tempest,
and make them afraid with thy storm.
and make them afraid of thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy name,
that they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh. Let them be confounded in trouble forever.
That they may be found in trouble forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame and perish.
let them be put to shame and perish.
Then men may know that thou,
That they may know that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is
art the most high of all the earth.
Most high of all the earth.
We're going to read the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh,
Baruch atah Yahweh,
Wa Yahweh Shai,
Wa Yahweh Shai,
Wa Ma'aka Allah,
Wa Ma'aka
Wa Lahaya,
Wa Lahaya,
Matazab Ya'ah,
Wa
Alawap Yahana, Halawapyam, Hasaranyam, Akwatazayanyam, Achayayayam, Wa Akwathian, Yahweh, Wa Shem Yahweh Shai, Tuwanaman. All right, in the English, we're going to read the blessings. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yahana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. Sorry while you're shopping, you can turn and be seated. All right. Once again, we're going to be in Genesis, the 14th chapter, talking about Abraham. Just to recap, I know we went over it a little bit before the prayers, but just to recap, we're going to be talking about Abraham specifically being a man of war. A lot of people don't understand the characteristics or the character of Abraham, the type of man that he was. We'll find out that Abraham went to war over his nephew, which I know a lot of black brothers can understand that. Black and Hispanic brothers can understand that today. Hopefully this will be able to resonate with you, and we'll be able to understand a little bit about the situation that happened with him and his wife Sarah, right? Who, she was barren, right? But the brother Abraham had faith in the Most High and prayed to the Most High, and we'll find that his prayers did not go unanswered. So we'll start off by reading Genesis, the 14th chapter in the Hebrew, verses 7 through 14, or 7 through 13. So all right. Beginning with verse 7. Wa Shabwa, wa Bawa al Ayan, Mashapat, Hawa, Kodash, wa Kawa, Ath Kal, Shada, Ha'aimal, Ha'aimalakia, Wagam, Ath, Ha'amarya, Hayashab, Bakata Tazan, Thamar, verse 8, Waya Tazah, Malak, Salakin, Saddam, Wamalak, Amara, Wamalak, Adama, Wamalak, Taza Bawam, Bawayam, Wamalak, Balai, Hawa'a, Tazair, Waya Irakwa, Atham, Malachama, Ba'aimak, Hashajim, verse 9, Ath, Khadara, La'imar, Malak, Ayalam, with Thadai, Slagi, with Thadail, Malak, Wayo Slaki, Goyam, Marapal, Malak, Shanair, Wa Salaki, Reaka, Malak Alasar, Abat Salaki, Arabai, Malak Yum, Ath, Hamasha, verse 10, Waimak, Hashadyum, Ba'arath, Ba'arath, it's like a Ba'arath, Chamar, Wayanasawa, Malak, Saddam, Wa'imara, Wayapawa, Shema, Wahanashah, Arayam, Haram, that's like a Hara, Nasawa, verse 11, Waya Ath, Kal, Rakash, Saddam, Wa'imara, Wa'ath, Kal, Akalam, Waya Lakawa, verse 12, Waya Kakwa, Ath, Lawat, Wa'ath, Rakashwa, Bun, Akya, Abaram, Waya Lakawa, Wahawa, Yashab, Basadam, verse 13, Wayaba, Habalayat, Wayagad, La'abaram, Haibarya, Hawa'a, Shakan, Ba'alanya, Mara, Slaki Mamara, Ha'amarya, Akia, Ashakal, Wa'akia, Ainar, Waham, Ba'alya, Baryath, Abaram. All right, so that was verses 7 through 13. We're going to read those same 7 verses in English. We're going to break it on down, starting at verse 7. So this is the book of Genesis, chapter 14, and verse 7. It says, "And they returned and came to Emnishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites that dwelt in Hazan Tamar." All right, so just to give you a little bit of backstory, right? This is at the time that the Most High told Abram, before his name was changed to Abraham, he was told to go into a land that the Most High would send him to. And so throughout this journey that he's going into this new land, he's encountering all of the things that we are reading about, right? He's encountering wars, all right? Just to remind y'all from last week, right? Abraham was living with Lot, all right? Lot came with Abraham to go serve the Lord. So Lot is Abraham's nephew, right? And so Lot brought his family, but it came to pass that they didn't have enough land. And we was talking about this last week. Sometimes the house is not big enough to accommodate the amount of people that's inside of it. And so the wise thing to do at times is just to say, hey, there's too many of us in here. Let's go our separate ways. We still family. We still love each other. But this house is too small to accommodate all of us. So that's what Abraham did. Abraham said, hey, look, the Lord has given all of this to us. So this plot of land, will be mine, and you can go to that plot of land over there, basically, right? No hard feelings, nothing like that. Just sometimes that's how it work out. And what ended up happening is Lot went to Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Which we all are going to understand shortly that that place was exceeding wicked. It was a terrible place for him to go to. And so within this time period that they're going through these lands, they're witnessing wars, right? In the first 7 verses of Genesis chapter 14, we find that there's a lot of these different kings, and they got different titles for them, right? They're all basically kings, right? They call them Rephaims or Zuzims or Emims, but they all just titles for kings, right? Well, they all at war with each other at this time, and so Abraham is seeing all of these things go down. What we're gonna find out though is that Lot gets mixed up in these wars. Abraham's gonna go to war, all right? Abraham is going to go to war because of his nephew. So we'll continue reading that, right? So it says in verse 8, and there went out the king of Sodom and the king of Gomorrah and the king of Admah and the king of Zeboim and the king of Bela, the name is Zoar. And they joined battle with them in the vale of Siddim with Chedorlaomer, the king of Elam, and with Tidal, king of nations, and Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elasar, 4 kings with 5, right? So this is talking about all of the different kings that's involved in this war, different nations, right? Verse 10 says, and the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there. And they that remained fled to the mountain. All right, so Sodom and Gomorrah at this point losing the war, right? These are all just small details that we can pay attention to as we go on our way to learning something, right? So Sodom and Gomorrah, they kind of losing this war, at least this battle, right? But then it goes on to say, verse 10, it's like in verse 11, and they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their victuals, and went their way. And they took Lot, Abram's brother and son. It's like Abram's brother's son, right, which is his nephew, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. Remember, I just told y'all Abram's about to go to war over this, because remember, Lot got sent into Sodom and Gomorrah. That's the land that he chose to go to when he split up from Abraham, right? Well, he just falls into this war because it really wasn't none of his business to begin with, but because he's inside of that land while they're at war, he now becomes a spoiler of that war if the country that he's in loses. Just like we in America right now, if America goes to war and let's say gets invaded, well, all of us are subject. We might not be associated with America. We might not want to call ourselves American or live by the American standard, but we here. So if America were to get invaded, we would become part of the spoils of that war, right? Just hypothetically, right? Well, that's what happened with Lot. Sodom lost the war, all right, and because Lot was there, they took Lot and his goods and they left, right? So verse 13 says, and there came one that had escaped. So he escaped from all of this war, right? And it says, and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and the brother of Aner. And these were confederate with Abram. All right, so these are different people that that Abram was confederate with. What that means is they had an allegiance with him. So if something was to happen to Abram, they was going to jump up. And if something happened to these cats, Abram was going to jump up. All right. So somebody that escaped that war came to tell Abram's confederates, hey, Abram's nephew just got jammed up and picked up by these different kings that came and fell on Sodom, right? Verse 14 says, and when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants born in his house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. So this is why it's important to understand the type of man that Abram was, because once again, like I said at the beginning, a lot of people look at Abram like he's, some old man with a beard and a stick that was just traveling through these different countries. But you got to understand that this is a black man. A lot of us grew up reading the Bible and looking at the Bible like it's some white book. So a lot of us have the false image of Christ. We got that in our head, a false image of God. Any TV show or movie that depicts God for the most part, they all depict him as some old man with long gray hair, but he's white. They depict the prophets as white. They depict everything as white. Um, and so a lot of us get caught up in that, even though we might be in the truth now. We grew up thinking and having these images in our head of these white people. A lot of us think Moses was an old man with a staff that was white, but come to find out that these are black men, right? And when a black man's brother or nephew or cousin or whoever gets into something, we always take it upon ourselves to get involved because that's just the type of people that we are. So we don't realize that the people in the Bible are just as much men of war as we are today, right? Abraham gathered up 300 some odd men to go and fight against the people that took Lot, right? So we're gonna keep reading Salaki real quick. 1 second. All right. So we're gonna read verse 15, Genesis 14 and 15. It says, and he divided himself against them, he and his servants by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. So he went and he found the people that had taken Lot captive, right? And smote them, which means he destroyed them, he killed them, right? And verse 16 says, and he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot and his goods, and the women also, and the people. Verse 17. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer, and of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shaveh, which is the king's dale. Verse 18 says, and Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. This is the first time that you find a priest of the Most High mentioned in the Bible, right? Right directly after Abram went, and he went to war. He went to war with the people that took his nephew into captivity, right? And so what happened with that is Abram gained the favor of the king of Sodom. He gained the favor of the king of Sodom because, remember, Lot lived in the land of Sodom. So when Sodom was destroyed by these different kings, and Abram goes back specifically to get his nephew, right? He has to kill those same kings and kill their army. So he gains the favor of Sodom because of that, right? But we also see Melchizedek, the first appearance of Melchizedek, which he is once again the first priest of the Most High God, right? And so this is directly after this battle, right? That Abraham wouldn't fought, right? It says that Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God, and he blessed him and said, blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth, and blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies into thy hand, and he gave him tithes of all. All right, this is talking about Abram giving the priest Melchizedek tithes of all. All right. What we find out about Melchizedek, right, is that this man didn't have a mother or father, right? This man didn't have a mother or father. He was a priest that, once again, this is before the Levitical priesthood. It's the first time that you see a priest of the Most High. And he's saying, blessed be Abram, because Abram is the beginning of the blessings for Israel, right? Remember, you got Abraham, you got Isaac, you got Jacob, and then you got the 12 tribes of Israel, right? And so the Most High is proving Abraham by putting him through all of these things. Remember, he left his homeland. He left his family, his father's house, and he went to go and start a new life serving the Most High God. And within that process, this man got to go to war. I mean, he's facing all types of turmoil, and he's being tested left and right. And so after this major test, right, which is going back to go get his nephew, the Most High sends his priest down to bless Abram. And we see that Abraham pays tithes to him, right? Which is something that I always bring up about the Most High. His laws have always been in effect, right? When you go back to Noah, we talked about this when we read about Noah, right? There's always been a unclean and a clean type of animal, all right? There's always been the law of tithes, paying the tithes to the priest. There's always been the law of a brother. There's always been the law of thou shalt not murder, right? All of these things we find that just in the last 13 chapters of Genesis, right? Or the first 13 chapters of Genesis, we find that these laws are all throughout, way before the Most High ever established a written law, all right? Because the Most High has always been the same. So we'll keep reading, right? So verse 21 says, and the king of Sodom said unto Abram, give me the persons and take the goods to thyself. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up my hand unto the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich. One thing about Abram is he was honorable, all right? And so when he went back to get his nephew, that's what he went back to get. He didn't. So when the king of Sodom wanted to bless him with all of the other goods that he had retrieved from these kings, right? Because remember, when Abraham went to get Lot, he smote them kings, so all of it he took, right? He got all of the goods, got everything. And so when the king of Sodom's like, hey man, look, you just did me a favor. Just give me my people, and you can have all of the goods, all the silver, all the gold, whatever you find, you can have it. But Abraham, being an honorable brother, he said, look, bro, I just went to go get my brother. I just went to go get my nephew. That was it. That's what I came for. I'm not going to allow you to give me anything, because I don't want you to be able to say, I gave Abram something. You get what I mean? And that's the type of honorable man that he was, right? Because he didn't go there for that. He went there to get his nephew, and that's it. And he understands how wicked and terrible the kingdom of Sodom was. So it's like, I hate to use this example, but because I don't want to get jammed up on his YouTube, right? But there's a certain type of person that you don't want to say, or you don't want to be able to say gave you something. All right. We'll just leave it at that, right? Sodom is known for homosexuality. Sodom is known for all types of sin, all manner of sin. And so Abram, like, I don't want this type of person to be able to say gave me anything. I think it came on. It might be Tawab. All right, but so we'll read that again. It says, verse 23, that I will not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich, because he understands that the Most High is his power. And he don't want nobody else to be able to share glory with the Most High, saying, oh, I made Abram rich. I did this for Abram. No. Abram like, look, I only want the Most High to get this glory. Verse 24 says, save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, let them take their portion. So this was an honorable brother. He understood how this thing works, okay? Hey, and this is another thing too. I just want y'all to, before we move on, right? I want y'all to understand that, okay, let's use another example, right? Y'all seen in the movies, right? I don't know if y'all have been in this position. That's why I'm gonna use the movies, right? Or like TV shows, right? When let's say the drug dealer from up the street that you know he a terrible person, right? And he come and offer you some money because you might have did him a favor, unbeknownst to you. You didn't know you was doing him a favor, but you did something that benefited him, right? And so this drug dealer, you know he up to no good. You know you're a terrible person in the community, but you did something that benefited him. He gonna offer you some money for it. He said, hey man, I appreciate you looking out. Here go $100 or whatever. A lot of times you'll see in the movies, they be like, nah, man, I'm good. I don't want that. You're like, nah, man, take it. No, I'm good. I don't want that. Why? Because you don't ever want to be able to say that a drug dealer did anything for you. You get what I mean? And that's the way that Abram is looking at the water. That's the way that Abram is looking at it. Abram is looking at it like this wicked king of Sodom that's a king of a bunch of whores and homosexuals, I don't want him to say that he's ever been able to do anything for me. The only thing I want is what's due to me, and you can look out for my brothers. That's it. I just wanted to put that one in there because just so y'all can kind of make the connection, right? But we're going to read on into verse 1 of Genesis chapter 15. All right. And it says, after these things, the word of the Most High came unto Abraham in a vision, saying, fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. Verse 2 says, and Abram said, Most High God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless? And the steward of my house is Eliezer of Damascus. And Abram said, behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. So Abram at this point, after all of this, right, he's up in age at this point. He ain't got no children, no sons. And for a man, that's extremely important. For a man, it's extremely important, especially according to the Bible. Because according to the Bible, the inheritance goes to your firstborn son. All right. And so because that's the case, Abram is listening to the Most High, like the Most High is telling him, I've blessed you, right? But at the same time, Abram like, well, it's one more thing I need, right? Because the Lord promised him that he was going to make him a father of many nations, but I ain't got no kids, right? And so he's saying, well, how are you going to, what are you going to give me seeing that I go childless? I ain't got nobody to give my inheritance to. Matter of fact, the only person that I can give my inheritance to is another person that's been born in my house, but that ain't even my child, right? And so this is the question that he's posing to the Most High. It says, verse 4. Verse 4 says, and behold, the word of the Most High came unto him, saying, this shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir. And he brought him forth abroad and said, look now toward heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, so shall thy seed be. So he looking up. So the Most High tell Abram to go look up at the sky. It's nighttime, right? And this is before light pollution, all that light pollution that we got out here. So right now, it's nighttime. You're not going to be able to see the stars like that. You might see a few in the sky, right? The real bright ones. But all of the city lights kind of block out you being able to see the stars in the sky. But if y'all have ever been, let's say, camping or maybe even on a road trip somewhere in the middle of nowhere, you find that you can see the stars way better. Well, when you go out and look on a night like that in the middle of nowhere where there ain't no light pollution, you can see thousands, maybe millions of stars in the sky. It's just innumerable. And so the Most High tells Abram, go outside and look and see these stars if you can count them. And you'll find that this is going to be how many children you're going to have. This is what your seed is going to produce. So at this point, what's happening is that the Most High is promising Abraham seed. He's promising him to have children. Though he be old and he don't have any children, he's saying, I'm going to give you children, right? But we'll find that there's a problem that come with that. And of course, it'll be addressed, all right? Verse 6 says, and he believed in the Lord, and he counted to him for righteousness. And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees to give thee this land to inherit. And he said, Lord God, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, take me an heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another, but the birds divided he not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. All right. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward will they come out with great substance. So what we're reading right now is a prophecy. All right. And this prophecy is about Egypt. A lot of people try to take this prophecy and try to associate it with our captivity in America, because it is talking about 400 years in slavery and bondage, right? And a lot of people have tried to say, well, from 1619, the initiation of the North American slave trade, right, or the transatlantic slave trade, whatever you want to call it, to 2019. A lot of people in the year 2019 was like, "This is our last year in captivity," right? Come to find out, that's not what it was, and we knew this since 1969. We've been teaching that this prophecy is actually talking about Egypt. Roughly about 430 years we spent in Egypt under harsh and cruel bondage, and the Most High punished them. And that's what this is talking about. So even before Abraham had his first child, the Most High had prophesied that the children of Israel were going to go into Egypt under harsh and cruel bondage for 430 years. But see, I want y'all to understand something about this type of prophecy. It had to happen this way. It had to happen. The story of the Bible, this Bible is so thick. It's a big, long book. The story of the Bible only happens if the children of Israel go into Egypt. That's the poetry of this Bible, the way that the Most High operates. All right. This Bible only happens this way because of this prophecy, because of us going into Egypt, being afflicted for 400 years. Remember, when we go into Egypt, we 70 deep, 70 people, right? 70 people we go into Egypt with. We come out with thousands, right? And the children of Israel had to witness something. The Most High understands his children, right? The children of Israel had to witness slavery, abuse. We had to see the bad side of things, because when you only giving the good, you're going to find a way to make it bad. You know how you know? Adam. Because Adam was given everything. He was given the sweet side. He wasn't given the bad side. The Lord told him, you can have whatever you want. Just don't go to that bad thing over there. Right? Well, he sought out the bad thing. And then he found out, damn, I wish I could just have that good thing back. I want that old thing back. Right? Well, the Most High understands with wisdom that these children of his, they got to experience the bad thing first. They got to understand what it's like to be without the presence of the Most High God for a time. 400 years is a mighty long time, right? We've been in America for 400 plus years, right? And it's been a terrible time, right? We still here today in 2024. You got sisters like Sonia Massey getting murdered, all types of things. Other sisters, Sandra Bland, all right? All of these brothers and sisters getting murdered by the police and by other people. We're in a terrible condition. So this is a long time for us to realize, damn, I wish I could have a good thing instead of this bad thing. And that's why you see now, since 1969 on now, after about 300-400 years into slavery, we've had enough of it. We want to go back to serving the Most High God. We tired of getting punished. Well, anyway, the Lord knew that that's how it had to go. You understand? It has to go that way. You have to experience the bad once again, and then find out that the Most High is with you. And remember, at the end of those 430 years, the Most High delivered the children of Israel out of Egypt with those 10 plagues. And so what does that do for these brothers and sisters? It strengthens their faith. When you see the Most High working these types of things, you see that the Most High is on your side. You believe. You're not like Abraham. Abraham just had a vision that the Most High was going to give him children. That's it. He went to sleep, had a dream that the Most High was going to give him as many children as the stars in the sky. And he believed. That's all it took for him. But you're not like him. I'm not like him. We not like him. It takes a little bit more for us. Listen, Christ himself said, a wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign. We want a sign that the Most High is on our side. God knows that. The Most High God knows that. That's why he put the children of Israel in captivity in Egypt for 430 years and then gave them 10 signs. But remember, the 10 signs wasn't even enough. When those 10 plagues hit, the Most High was showing his hand, showing that he was with the children of Israel. Right? Nowhere else can you see that you have an advocate, right? Moses, right? You have an advocate that is dealing with your oppressor directly. He throw a staff on the ground and turn into a snake. He put his staff on the ground and it parts a sea, an entire body of water. The Most High turned the water into blood in this city. All of these different things that the Most High did, and you still don't. And then on top of that, Moses tells Pharaoh, the first, if you don't let the children of Israel go and worship their God, the firstborn of every Egyptian is going to die. And then that came to pass. And the children of Israel see this, and they still didn't believe. As soon as they found one, they got into one little jam in the wilderness after parting of the Red Sea, after the plagues, all of these things. After all of that, Moses took a little too long on that mount receiving the commandments from the Most High God. They want to build an idol and say that this bull that they just crafted with their earrings and their jewels, their earrings and their rings and things like that, that they melted down into a golden calf, which is one of the gods of Egypt. This God is the God that delivered you out of Egypt. God know who he dealing with. He know he dealing with a bunch of dumb kids, man. He knows a good father knows his children. And so that's why the children of Israel had to go into this captivity. The Lord promised Abraham this generations before, 4 generations before we went into Egypt. Because remember, it's Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and then one of his sons, Joseph, right? 4 generations. And before we went into Egypt, he prophesied 400 years. I'm harping on this because I want y'all to understand that this is important to understand the Most High God. Like, people look at the Most High like he wicked. Why would the Most High put us in captivity? Why would he do this to us? Why would he make us go through these things? Because we have to. We them type of children. Certain children got to touch the fire. You could tell the child all you want. Hey, the stove is hot. Quit playing in this kitchen while I'm cooking. Don't touch that stove. It's hot. Some of them kids, most of them kids, is going to go and get right next to that stove, lean their head against it, touch it, grab it, and they're going to have to get burned. And you told them multiple times it was hot. And so the Lord knows that about us. We the type of child that has to touch the stove. So we had to, before there was ever a nation of Israel, it was prophesied we were going to go into captivity because he understands how hard-headed we are. That's what the Most High calls. He calls us a stiff-necked generation, a stiff-necked group of people. You know what that means in today's terms? Hard-headed. That's what your father calls you. Your mother calls you hard. You're so hard-headed. You don't listen. Right? You don't listen, and that's us. That's us. And so that's the reason why the Most High had to put us in that captivity. All right, but now let's continue reading. Right, where was we at? So, Lucky. I think we had, what are we? Genesis 15 and we right after the Salaki. We'll read it again just to recap, right? Genesis 15 and 13, it says, and he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed will be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them for 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. Remember, when we came out of Egypt, what do we have? We had all of the earrings, we had all of the jewels, we had all of the silver and the gold. Right? We can read that in the book of Exodus. We came out of that land with great substance. Okay. This is prophecy coming to pass. Okay. Right. But let's keep reading. It says, verse 15, and thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. So he promised Abraham to live a good life, a long life, which he gave to him. Right. So he's promising him children, and he's promising him a good old life. And that's what most men desire. That's it. We just want some kids, and we want to live to a ripe old age and be healthy. That's it. That's all we want. All right. And that's the blessing that the Most High bestowed on Abraham, right? So like in verse 16, it says, but in the 4th generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces, right? We're still talking about the sacrifice that Abram has set up for the Most High, right? Verse 18 says, in the same day the Most High made a covenant with Abraham, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. The Kenites, the Kenizzites, the Cadmonites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Rephaims, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Girgashites, and the Jebusites. So the Most High is giving Abraham all of these lands. Now remember, these lands are still inhabited by these people. Understand that. All right. This isn't just like Abraham walking into a wide open field and like, oh, and everybody look at the Middle East like it's like destitute, like it's like just some land full of dirt. The Middle East is beautiful. You look at, the problem is you're looking at Iraq and Iran and Baghdad and all of them places. You're looking at them places like they just piles of dirt because they've been blown to smithereens. All right. But the Middle East is actually extremely beautiful, full of vegetation and trees and plants. The Middle East is beautiful, better than America, better than, I love going to California. It's beautiful out there. Love seeing the mountains with all of the green on them. I love that. You know, we out here in Arizona, we don't see too much of that, right? But we looking at the Middle East like it's like Arizona. No, the Middle East is full of green, full of vegetation and beautiful things. And so, point being, right, Abraham is not looking at just a wide open land. He's looking at places where there are cities. There are people there. People that are not like him, right? People that are of other nations that will find that the Most High is going to have to tell his children, y'all going to have to push them out. The Most High God is a man of war. Exodus the 15th chapter tells us he's a man of war. And so he's not just going to snap his finger and say, okay, this land is yours. No, you got to do some working. And I just go to show you that faith without works is dead, because guess what? Abraham can have all the faith in the world that these lands is going to become his. But if somebody don't go and take those lands, it'll never happen, right? And we should always remember that when we're dealing in here, right? Because remember, the kingdom, we know the kingdom is ours, but you know, we got to take the kingdom, like the scriptures say in the book of Daniel, the saints shall take the kingdom. So what does that mean? We got to work. We have to work for the kingdom, just like Abraham had to do that work. Abraham had to give up everything he knew to attain the kingdom and to set that up for, because Abraham never saw the promised land, but guess what? His children did. And so in order to set that up for his family, like an honorable man, he had to do work. He had to leave his family. He had to go and fight. This brother went and fought a war against different kings to go get his nephew back. You understand? Like, he had to do a lot to attain what the Most High had promised him. So just because the Lord promised you something don't mean that he just gonna give it to you. You got to do something for it, right? The Lord promised the children of Israel that land. Well, the children of Israel had to fight. Why you think we wandered in the wilderness for 40 years? You think we was just walking in a circle? That's what a lot of people think. Like, they think that we was just walking in a circle. No, we was out there fighting, going to war for 40 years straight, setting up tents and encampments. We had to go fight to get these lands. So when the Most High is saying, I'm going to give you the land of the Kenites, the Kenizzites, the Perizzites, the Cadmonites, the Perizzites, the Hittites, the Amorites, Canaanites, all of these lands, you had to go fight them out of there. You had to go fight them out of there. So that's the point, right? But let's keep reading, right? So we're going to go into Genesis 16. So like, where we leading off at? Okay, so we're going to read up to, so we're going to stop at verse 10, right? So we'll read Genesis 16. All right, beginning at verse 1. Remember, we was going to talk about Sarah, right? Because remember, the Most High promised Abraham that he was going to give him children, right? We're going to find something out, right? Verse 1, Genesis 16:1, it says, now Sarah, Abraham's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarah. So what's happening at this point, remember, the Lord promised Abraham some children. However, Sarah is barren. She can't have no kids. All right. Which a lot of sisters can relate to this, because there's a lot of sisters that can't have children. And even those who have been able to have children after a certain age, you can't no more. And so what she's saying, this is the honorable as well in doing this, right? She's saying she got a handmaid, right? Which is like a handmaid in today's terms would just be like a servant, right? And this person was an Egyptian. This was Hagar, right? And Sarah told her husband, the Lord is stopping me from having children. So go in unto my servant, right? Have sex with my servant and make children with her. That way I can have children through her, right? And so Abraham listened. He said, all right, I'll do that, right? Verse 3 says, and Sarah, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband, Abram, to be his wife. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarah said unto Abram, my wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judged between me and thee. So now she's immediately regretting this decision. She's like, oh no, right? I should have never offered this woman to my husband, right? And I can see why she would have that regret. And this woman is an Egyptian. I understand it, right? I understand both sides, right? But understand that this is the dilemma that both Sarah and Abram are being faced with. Because remember, if Abram doesn't have sex with Hagar, make a baby with Hagar, he doesn't have no kids, period, right? And of course, Sarah, seeing that, she made that decision, but now she's starting to regret it. All right, so verse 6 says, but Abram said unto Sarah, behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarah dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. And the angel of the Most High found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way to shore. Verse 8, and he said, Hagar, Sarah's maid, whence camest thou? And whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress, Sarai. And the angel of the Most High said unto her, return to thy mistress, and submit thyself under her hands. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. So remember, Sarah starts to scold Hagar, right? And she the one that set this up. Kind of a crazy story, right? But so Hagar, she, after she gets scolded, she running off. But the angel of the Lord stops her. I'm assuming that it's likely that she was getting ready to run off, right? With pregnant and all. But the angel of the Lord stops her, right? And says, don't go nowhere. Go back to Sarah, go back to Abram, and give this man his children, right? Because all of this was of the Lord. The Lord designed all of this. The way this happened, it had to happen like this. That's why I say this Bible is so thick, because of the things that we're reading about, because all of these things have a trickle effect. Hagar bore who? Ishmael, right? So Hagar bore Ishmael. And we'll find that later that Sarah bore Isaac, right? These things are going to, as we continue to read this Bible every Sabbath, going through these different chapters, right? We're going to find out that these things are extremely important. Ishmael had to be born. He had to be. All the way into the New Testament, Ishmael is being talked about. Hagar is being talked about. Because these things are important with the poetry of the Bible. Ishmael had to be born to be compared to Isaac. We're going to find all of that out, right? And the reason why these things are important is because there has to be a separation. That's what the term holy means, separate or separation. There has to be a people that's not like us. And I'm not quoting Kendrick Lamar. I'm saying there has to be a people that's different than us for us to compare ourselves to say, hey, these other people, they're not us. This is who we are. We're Israel, right? And so the Most High does these things, even on down to Jacob and Esau, them being born twins, right? Well, they brothers, but Esau not like us. So these things are spiritual, and you see the same thing happening right now. So once again, this Bible harmonizes with everything that you read in the Bible. All right, so we'll continue reading on just so we can get the context, right? So Salakia, I'll read verse 11. Matter of fact, I'll read up to verse 12, right? Just to finish off the context, so that way we can next week when we continue reading, we'll be able to understand what we're doing, right? So I'll read verse 10 again, right? Verse 10. And the angel of the Most High said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. And the angel of the Most High said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shalt call his name Ishmael, because the Most High hath heard thy affliction. The Hebrew behind the term Ishmael, or the word or name Ishmael, is Yashamai Allah. All right, which means the Most High has heard. Shammai means listen, right? And so Yashamai Allah, Allah means power. It just means that the Most High has heard, and that's what is being explained here, right? The Most High has heard thy affliction, because Hagar was afflicted. All right, and so that's why Ishmael's name is what it is. Just something to learn on what it is. But verse 12, and he will be a wild man, and his hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. This is another prophecy, right? This is talking about Ishmael being the so-called Arabs. All right, you see all that going on in the Middle East. This man's hand is wild against everybody. All right, he ready to. Them cats. Listen, I don't know if y'all seen some of these videos of these Ishmaelites. They got them rocket launchers. Just I don't even know where they're getting them from. But they got them damn rocket launchers and AK-47s and AR-15s. Just going crazy, right? And so their hand is against everybody. They don't mess with nobody, just each other. I dig it. But it also says that every man's hand is going to be against them. And that's absolutely true, right? You see the Israelis coming against the Palestinians, and you see America coming against the Arabs in Afghanistan and Iraq and Iran and all these different places where these Arabs dwell. Okay, this is a prophecy talking about what we can observe these things happening today. All right, and it's important, right? We all the way in Genesis, the 16th chapter. We just read another prophecy last chapter, Genesis 15th chapter, right? Talking about something that we can observe later on. All right. But these things were written 5,000 years ago. You understand? And so that's why reading these things and understanding, especially these prophecies, understanding what they mean and being able to apply them today in 2024 is beautiful. But this is the only book that we can do that with. There's no other book from 5,000-6,000 years ago that we can read these things and be able to apply them to today, right? So next week we'll get more into this, right? We'll get more into the story of Sarah and Abraham. We'll get into Isaac as well, right? So just to recap once again, like I said, we're every week we're reading 49 verses of the Bible in sequence. So like I said, if y'all continue with us every week, for as long as it takes for us to get through the Bible, 49 verses at a time, you'll be able to read the entire Old Testament, which many people are not, they have not done that, right? And so we'll be able to do all of that, get all of the context, all of the understanding. And so make sure y'all tapping in every week. Like I said, next week we'll be going into Isaac, and we'll get the understanding of that. If anybody got any questions, of course, y'all can type them in. We're going to go ahead and close out the Sabbath service for this week. All right. With that being said, I imagine, which means to stand. Panyak down, which means to turn and face the east. We're going to close out with the prayer. Beginning with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Avanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Ayah, Shamkar, Yahweh, Malakwaka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Ayah, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Ayah, Bashamayim, Nathanawa, Lacham, Kal Yawam, Basalakanawa, Kawabwatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kawathinawa, Wala'ah, Tabayanawa, Wanasa 1. Abal, Awashai Nawa, Mayan, Rakaya, Laka, Amalagwa, Wa'ala, Wathapara, Lai Walamyam, Aman. We're going to read the Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. So be it. We're going to read the Hakak, or the power, in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Babu Kushai, Nathalan Awa Hakak, Hakala Rapa'ah, Kal Maka'ala, Wakal Madawa, Hakala Tahar, Hamata Zarayim, Hakat Lakoyam, Amatyam, Hakat, Arakawa, Atamala, the God's Son, Ba'ashem Yahushai, the Walaman. The Hakak, the power in the English. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahushai, thank you, so be it. All right, we're going to read the prayers that bless Israel, beginning with the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Barak Lenawa, Wayashala, Wahabayat Saparyam, Barak, Ba'ashem Yahushai, the Waraman. The prayers that bless Israel in English. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, bless us and Israel and the school. In the name of Yahushai, thank you, so be it. Psalms the 121st chapter in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Ahaharyam, Ma'ayan, Yaba'a, Isaiah, Ma'ain, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayam, Wa'arataza, Al Yathan, Lamawat, Ragalka, Al Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al Yad, Yanyanka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'a, Yakaka, Wayarach, Walayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makal Rad, Yashamar, Atmapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'afka, Wabawa'aka, Ma'aitha, Wa'ai, Awalam. All right, Psalms 121st chapter in the English. I will lift up mine eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Yashala shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth and even forevermore. All right, we're going to read Psalms, the 83rd chapter in the Hebrew. Alahayim, al damaya laka, al thakarash, wa al thashakwat, al kayahana, our Yabyaka, Yahamaya 1, Ra'ash, Al Imaka, Yarayamwa, Sawada, Wayatha, Yaitazawa, Al Tazapawanyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakidam, Magalia, Wala'a, Yazakar, Sham Yashala, Iwada, Kaya, Nawa Aitazawa, Laba, Yakhadwa, Al Yaka, Baryath, Yakarathwa, Ahawya, Adawam, Wayashamayalayam, Mawa'aba, Wahagarya, Gabal, Waimawan, Waimalak, Palashaf, I'm Yeshabya, Tazawar, Gamashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zawai, Labanya Lawat, Salah, Aishalaham, Kamadyan, Kasaya, Sara'ah, Kayabian, Manakal, Kwayashwan, Nashamadwa, Ba'ayan, Da'ara, Ayawa, Daman, La'adama, Shayathamwa, Nada, Yabmawa, Ka'ira, Wakaza'aba, Wakazabak, Wakazazal, Mana'ai, Kal, Nasaya Kamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Nayarasha, Lanawa, Ath, Na'awath, Alahayam, Alahaya, Shayathamwa, Kagalgala, Kakwash, Lapanya Raha, Ka'ash, Taba'ira, Ya'ira, Kala Slagi, Wakala Haba, Talahat, Haryam, Khan, Taradatma, Basa'iraka, Wabasa, Wapathka, Tabahalam, Mala'a, Panyaham, Kwalawan, Wayabakwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Wayabahawa, Aya'ai, Wayahaparwa, Waya Abadwa, Waya Da'aiwa, Kaya Atha, Shamka, Yahawa, Labadka, Ayawan, Alka, Arataza. When you read Psalms, the 83rd chapter in English. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Yasha may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Gasan, which perished that endured. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like a red, and like Ze'eb. Yea, all their princes as Abba, and as Almunah, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may see thy name, O Yahweh. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high of all the earth. All right, we're going to read the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatha Yahweh, wa Yahweh Shai, wa Ma'aga'ala, wa Alahayim, Matazab Ya'ah, Alawab Yahana, Ha'alawapiam, Hasaranyam, Akwatazayanyam, Akaya Yoyam, wa Ha'kwathin, Yahweh, wa Hashem Yahweh Shai, the Wadaman. All right, the blessings in the English. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yahana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. All right, so while you're shopping, you can be seated. If any brother wanted to come up and get anointed, you can. All right, let's say these prayers. I point at you, say your name 3 times, and then the drill. Yabaraka Yahweh wa Yashamar ka ya ar Yahweh pan Yahweh al Yaka wa Yathanka Yasha'ar Yahweh pan Yahweh al Yaka wa Yashamlaka Shalom Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai Barak Rapah Magan Agan
Yawasab.
Yawasab
Yawasab.
Yawasab
Yawasab.
Yawasab by Shem Yahweh Shai the Wadaman. Clap it up for the brother. All right. Sis, if you would like to step up, you may. All right, sis, you know the drill as well. We'll say these prayers, point at you say your name 3 times, all right? Baraka Yahweh wa Yashamarka Ya'ar Yahweh Panyawa, Auyaka, wa Khanka, Yasha'ar Yahweh Panyawa, Auyaka, wa Shamlaka, Shalom, Yahweh, by Shem Yahushai, Barak, Rapah, Magan, Hagan,
Rayana,
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 Rayana.
Rayana, by Shem Yahushai, the water Aman. Clap it up for the sister as well. All right. What we just said in the English was, Yahweh bless thee and keep thee. Yahweh make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yahweh lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, bless, heal, shield, and protect these brothers and sisters. This comes from Numbers, the 6th chapter, verses 22 through 27. All right. With that, we're going to close out the Sabbath service with a salute. Men of Israel, Majum Shabbat. Majum, Barak, Yahweh, Shem Yahweh Shai, Barakatah. Sorry, towards the sister. Sister, you can stand. Majum. We'll get a sister a courtesy salute as well. Men of Israel, Majum Shabbat, Majum, Barak, Yahweh Shamar, Lathel, Bashem Yahushai. Yadi Matah, dismiss.